And where does this end? Another debate going on about diversifying wealthy neighborhoods and whether it's just overreach. Rudy Giuliani thinks overreach. Listen to this.
I mean, the fact is zoning is a local matter. The federal government doesn't control zoning. You get a right to zone your area for certain kinds of housing, single-family housing, two-family housing, industrial, commercial. No way that's going to pass constitutional muster, but Obama has failed constitutional law so often as president, they should take his degree back.
Or what they're saying and what the big dust-up is can you force communities and even threaten withholding federal funds if they don't build affordable housing? So even in the Tony Hamptons, even if you're doing off of Martha's Vineyard at Cape Cod, Beverly Hills, it would all apply. Of course, in the mainstream media, you won't hear those locales mentioned, will you? We just did. Mark David Asman on what they're cooking up here. What do you think, Dave?
I don't think it's about racial discrimination. I think it's about money. Look, if it was about racial discrimination, you wouldn't have people like Spike Lee living in the Upper East Side of Manhattan in a $34 million townhouse. What this is about is federalization of local policies. That's what this administration has been doing with regard to police, with regard to schools, and now with regard to zoning. They think it goes against the American government fiber of local communities controlling their own community rather than the folks inside the Beltway doing it for them.
What they're saying, Mark, is that when those local communities try to control their own community with a wink and a nod, they're controlling the types of folks they have in that community, and that is racist. What do you say? Right.
So the federal government, who was responsible, the leftist Democrats created the war on poverty 50 years ago, and they built these high tower, housing projects in the Bronx and in South Chicago, all over the country, and they are blighted, and they have kept people of color and minorities and low-income people trapped in this cycle. So now they're telling us we've got another plan. Let's not look back and figure out what they did wrong. We have another plan. We're going to come in and we're going to take control, and we're going to move these people into high-income areas so that way they have an opportunity. Instead of incentivizing people across the economic strata, they are trapping people. And this is yet another big government solution.
Hold on a second. They're not exactly trapping people. A lot of this is the degree to which America as a whole has become dependent on federal aid, because what they're saying is we will withhold some of that federal aid that you get through HUD, the housing program, unless you do what we say you should do. So America has become so addicted to getting money from the federal government. That's the way they're trying to change people's behavior.
Right, but folks in low-income areas, right, they become dependent. This becomes a cycle. So we've seen
Cities have become dependent on the federal government. That's part of the problem.
Why not you break the cycle and then call their bluff? The administration is doing this. If you're so interested in providing opportunities and making real estate pro-choice, let's say, then why don't you provide the same with vouchers and school choice? So if you want to address this inequality or this gap in the rich and the poor, start by providing that kind of choice and vouchers for kids in poor areas.
How about we start with the federal government not taking the money from the taxpayer or from the states in the first place? Let's keep the money local. Let's not even route it through Washington. That's where we get corruption. That's where we get waste. If it comes through Washington in the first place, let's keep it local. Let's let the locals decide what they should with education. They should with local housing. Instead, right now, what they're proposing is something that will put the long arm of the federal law into the local community.
It's all about money.
But
they want to make everybody equal, and you have that in Cuba where everybody's poor. Maybe that's where we're
Speaking of which, we got Charlie Rangel coming up next.
Oh.